back and enjoy.
Welcome. Now, in this video, I want to try to make a couple of movie or TV show replicas of a Winkler hatchet, which is featured in or seen in a TV show called The Terminal List. So I was given this chainsaw docking bar from a sawmill and asked to try to create some. I've no idea what sort of steel this is, so I thought I'd cut a bit off and try to do spark test and compare it to other steels. But yeah, I don't know. I confused myself, and I don't really know what I was doing. I still have no idea what sort of composition of the steel is. So the next thing I thought I could test is to see if I can get it to harden. So once I light the forge and get it up to temperature, I'll try a bit of an oil quench and just some vegetable oil to see if I can harden it. Then I'll just try to, do the old file test on it and see if it can skate a file. Just testing the unhardened bar. And that didn't harden, didn't make any difference. It was as soft after the oil quench as it was before I did it. So now I'll try to do it in water. Another file test, soft as butter. So then I guess I'll try an air quench to see if it's just air hardening. I think it did something, I'm not really sure. We'll have a bit of a closer look on it. It seems to resist a little bit, and it sort of had funny texture to it, so I guess it's more of an air hardening steel. So I found some pictures online of what the Winkler RnD is supposed to look like, but it's not quite to scale, so I'll cut out the picture and then just try to draw up a bit of a template. So just trying to zoom in and make it enlarge the picture. That's the best I could get with my knowledge of computeringness. It seemed that with I don't know how the picture blew up, the head dimensions were pretty much on spec. It's just that the handle wasn't, it didn't come up right. It was a bit too thin, so I just added a bit to the paper template, and now I'm just going to transfer it onto a bit of plywood, and then hopefully I'll just we'll see what it feels like when I cut it out. So just trying to work out how much usable steel I've got on the bar. There's obviously, like, the chainsaw bar's got little grooves that run down in there. It's not really usable. I'm going to have to try to make the width bigger by, like, trying to forge in extra. So I'm just trying to work out here roughly how much I think I might need and where I would need to concentrate on moving the mass. So just trying to make it grow sideways and then make the handle grow lengthways. So what I thought of doing was cutting off one side of that groove, and then I was going to see if I could use the material and forge it in and add it as a taper, and then I don't have to draw it out as much to achieve the sort of width I'd need. This is all experimental. Like, I'm not by any means a blacksmith or a bladesmith. I'm just trying to figure stuff out as I'm going. So here I'm just trying to forge out the length by using the one side of the groove there, but it was just becoming a nightmare. I was just making little cold shuts and it wasn't moving as well as I thought, and I just decided to cut off the other side of the groove and just forge the solid mass out. It's kind of tricky to hold. So many little bits of angles on it and things. So now, yeah, just use a fly press and try to squeeze a bit of length out of it. So after about 1,000,000 heats and trying to move and get it to the rough shape, I trace a bit of a pattern on the workbench so I don't burn my template, and then I can sort of figure out where I need to bend it, move it, manipulate it. Now once I've forged the rough shape rough enough, I can trace it and cut off the excess. Yeah, I've got it close to shape, but it's a bit twisted and warped, so I'm just trying to use a flat plate and a heavy hammer, just trying to flatten it out against the bench. I should make myself a little forging flattener thing. I reckon it might come in handy. But this will do until then. I didn't show it, but I heated it up and put it in some vermiculite to try to anneal it and grind off all the forged scale so I can start doing the profile on the belt grinder. As all the scales removed, I can mark it out a little bit more accurately and then clean up everything on the belt grinder. The small wheel attachment was invaluable for all these little contours and curves and bits. Now, some bits I had no choice but to use a die grinder to sort of remove a lot of the bulk. Then I can just finish it up with the small wheel attachment. I'm just trying to lay out where the pinholes would go. Try to make it look purposeful and even. So once they're all marked out, I could figure out the areas that I could skeletonise the tang, just so it wasn't so handle heavy. I'm going to remove those bits. Just drill all my pinholes. And then clean up all the forging marks and get a nice flat plane on the tang and the head. The surface grinder probably would have been pretty good for this, but I don't have one. So after grinding in the bevels and everything, I wanted to sort of, I don't know, like forge finish the thing, so I sanded it up on the belt grinder and hit it with a brass brush, just to sort of, I don't know, smooth out the textures. But anyway, jumping all over the place, I started getting some of this, I think it's merbau or merbu or however you say it, just a bit of old hardwood, and rip it down, resaw it into like handle scales. So I thought if I just use some double-sided stucky tape, I can stick both pieces back together, and then I can cut out the shape once, but then I'll have the two halves, one for each tomahawk. Now, just trying to get it like I don't know what I'm doing. It just changes the colour. You put it in the forge and rub it with a bit of oil, and it sort of, I don't know, makes it go a blued colour. I can't really heat treat this steel, and it's only ever going to be like a wall decoration. I didn't need it to be hardened. And so you can see it's got like a forge finish on it. I'm just ripping the thin scales. So just use a bit of inox once it's at a not screaming hot, but just warm, and then hopefully that'll all penetrate in and prevent it from rusting. But that's what it looks like once it's all coloured. Now just trying to temporarily stick the scales on so I can drill the pinholes and have everything aligned. So drilling the holes for the pins, and then I'll just repeat the process from the other side, and that way I can guarantee that they're all going to line up in the same spot. For the pins for this, I've decided to use like carbon fibre pins. I wanted them to be similar colour to the bluing of the steel when it was all finished. So now I can use some of the pin stock as just to align the two scales together, because in that way they'll meet up perfectly, and I can trim and dress the I don't know what you call it, the bit where the scales meet the head or the blade. Mark out accurately for the profiles. Use a little rotary tool just to clean up any imperfections. Just rounding over the edges. It was taking too long and too difficult to do it by hand, so I set up a little vise and used the old shoe shine technique just to break the corners. Seems to work pretty well. Now to touch up where I sanded, I just used a little map gas torch, get the steel warm, and then wipe it over with a bit more inox just to re-blue it. Now all the little pins are cut and I'm happy with the fit. I can prep for the glue up. Just clean everything with a bit of isopropyl alcohol. tang a bit of a rough up. Promote some adhesion. So just mixing up the epoxy, and then I add a bit of graphite powder, and it darkens up the epoxy, so I guess it's not as noticeable where all the little gaps and ill-fitting bits are. It's a good little life hack. Saves putting in all the effort to try to get a good fit up. You just learn all the cheats. Now just make sure you get every single clamp you own and give it a clamp up. Try to wipe off as much excess as possible. Now it's all glued up. I'm just going to remove the excess of these pins. Sort of took too long to use a jeweler's saw. This is the first time I've ever used the carbon pins on any sort of handle. I actually really like the way it's come up, the contrast of it, so I guess I might use it for future projects. So the finish of choice is just a bit of true oil. So this is the process I went through to make one. I made a second one off camera. Just didn't want to go through that whole ordeal of watching me fumble my way through one. So then I was just trying to figure out a way to mount them on the wall so they would look good. So the things I've seen online were just like hooks, but I thought it looked a bit, shit. So I was just experimenting with thinking I'll put it on a shield of some description. So I'm just making up a template, freehanding the shape. Just like thing to remember when you're cutting out the template is ask a grown-up if you can use the scissors. So now I'll make the shield. I thought I'd use some of this old recycled shitty timber. So just thought I'd resaw it and try to join it in a way that looks a bit like shipwright panelling, but without having to go and buy any. So just try to dress up the edges so it'll glue nicely, clamp up nice. So just a bit of the old PVA. Chuck it in some clamps. I didn't want it to bow and cup while it was all clamped up, so I decided to weight it down with something heavy. Hopefully that'd be enough, I thought, to keep it flat. Seems pretty flat. Checked it with the rule. Come back when it's dry. Cut out the shape on the bandsaw. I started to get to these little bits. I started to fret a bit, but I wasn't sure, like, if I could cope. It's a bit of a sawing joke. It's not really that funny. Don't know myself. Anyway, clean it up on the belt grinder. Give it a bit of a tickle up on the sander. Now just testing out the little router to see how the profile of the bit will look. Give it a bit of a edge. Look, I know it's only pine, but I had a plan on, there's a way of finishing timber. I think it's a shosugi ban or something that's Japanese. They burn it anyway. I think it looks pretty cool and makes it look a bit rustic. So once I get it all routed and dressed and stuff, it'll either make it look good or I'll catch it on fire and burn it and have to start again. But figuring out now where the dowels go to hold the little tomahawks in. I think this old piece of dowel was from an old broken broom handle. It just so happened it was a smidgen oversized from what I drilled the hole, so I just put a small taper on it and I could wedge it in to the hole and it would be a nice fit, nice tight fit. So that's the idea of how they hang on the wall. And because it's a nice tight friction fit, I just thought I'd put a bit of super glue on it and use that to lock it into place. Now ready for the decoration. Never done it before, but I mean, how hard is it to burn a bit of wood, really? But I don't mind the way it makes the pine come up. It actually makes it look a bit more interesting than boring old pine. So now I'll just rub a bit of linseed oil and terps into it. So now I've got to figure out a way to mount it on the wall, and I thought I'd try and use a French cleat with some of the leftover bits that I'd ripped. So I just glue one side of the cleat to the back of the shield. Then you use the other bit, like mount the other bit to the wall. Just adding a little spacer block so it sits flush against the wall. I didn't trust the super glue to hold the cleat onto the back of the shield, so I just added some small little screws just to help it not fall to bits. Yeah, just mounting it to the wall just to see what it looks like. You just screw the wall side of the cleat. The angle holds the shield on. And that's it. Well, that's it. When I think back on it, we've had some laughs, been a good time. If you liked the video, click like. If you like my content, subscribe. Thanks for watching.